Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for attending. My name is Nadine Rosenstiel. Hello. Hope you all can see me. You should be seeing the Toscano website homepage. If you have a question, everybody is in mute mode, but if you have a question, you can use the chat feature. I'm very informal, so at any time, just shoot me a chat and I'll be happy to answer it for you. So today we're going to do the personal umbrella rater, and we're really excited about it because we just add a third company, Hudson. What's nice about our rater is if it's a not so unique risk, you can enter in the information, and if you don't get a quote immediately, it will shoot us a submission and we'll be able to submit it to the company and get a quote for you. So for instance, if the person is elderly and has 2 or 3 DUIs in an accident, we should be able to place that for you. We receive very little declines from our companies. We have, they're very open to different types of situations, so don't fear if you have that not so good risk that we might be able to quote that for you. So let's get started. So how do you enter the Toscano homepage? So www.toscano.com is our website. If you've never been there before, I'm really proud of our website. I like to say it's your website. So if you have any questions or suggestions on it, please let us know because it's here for you. If you don't like something about it, please let us know if you want something added. We always love your feedback. So again, it's www.toscano.com. If you don't have a login, please shoot me off an email or give me a call. We'll set you up. We do encourage every office person in your office to have their own individual website login and password. I know that sometimes that's a hassle because you have so many that you have to remember and companies that you deal with, but just so everybody's secure and everybody's getting the right information, we do ask that everybody has their own login. So again, just shoot me off an email. My email is really easy. It's Nadine, Nadine, @toscano.com. So once you enter your email in the upper right-hand corner, you hit login. Once you hit login, it's going to land you to a page that's going to show all of our personal lines and commercial lines pages that we can go to. So in 2 seconds, it's going to get started here. I don't think it's had its morning coffee yet. Let's see. Okay. So this is a really nice section. I call it, the landing page. It shows your accounts. It shows our personal lines portals, American Modern, RLI, and Aegis. You can get motorcycle and snowmobile ID cards, your premium financing, your online payments, and all of our other events. Like for instance, today we are having an on-site CE class. Our personal umbrella rater shown, all the other events that is throughout the office. So on the left-hand side is the rate and submit online section. If you click the personal lines rating, this brings us to all of the personal lines rating. As you can see, we have a lot of them. So it's just not the personal umbrella rater. We have the snowmobile rater, which is popular now. It has the dwelling raters, the home base raters. All of these you're able to do in the comfort of your office. Today we're showing you the personal umbrella rater, which is on the right-hand side, and you just give it a click. If you have an existing quote, you can go in and edit. If not, we're doing a new quote today. Just click new quote. And again, at any time, if you have any questions, if you get hung up, just give us a call. Judy Britton, Deb Belcher, Lily Toscano, all of us are here to help you get through if there's any questions. Just ask you basics information right now. Just the first name and the last name. and the primary address. So this would be the home address. Because we are in PA, I'm just going to do PA, but we are able to do multiple states. So if you're in another state other than PA, as long as we're licensed there and you're licensed there, you're able to get a quote from another state other than PA. Enter the zip code. And this is just some qualifying questions asking if they've been charged with a felony within the last 5 years, if the primary residence is located outside of the US, or any watercrafts operated outside US coastal waters. Those are probably the only 3 things that will knock it out of, that we won't be able to offer a quote on. But basically everything else, like I said, we don't like to see too many declines. Okay, let's see. Now these are just general information questions. Some of them seem a little bit repetitive, and we understand that, but we are rating 3 companies today, every day when you do the comparative rater. So each company has to be unique and ask certain questions. The one question that's really different with the 3 companies is with units. So for instance, if you have a 2-family rental, one company is going to rate that as 2 locations, where another is just going to rate that as 1 location. So that's why it seems a little redundant on what we're asking, but we do apologize. We tried to keep it simple, but it's just because certain companies rate the information differently. Number of residents, you just enter how many residents are owned or occupied by the insured, primary or seasonal. Today we're just going to say 1. Number of units occupied by the insured. We're just going to pretend I only have 1 home. Again, if you were to have a 2-family rental, you would put 3, because 1 is your primary and 3, the additional 2 is for your 2-family rental, which will be a total of 3. How many 1 to 4 rental properties are owned by the insured? Properties with 5 units are ineligible. Reason why is in the personal lines world, our companies are only allowing 1 to 4 family rentals on a personal lines form. To be eligible for a personal lines umbrella, all of the underlying carriers must be on a personal lines form. So any 5 family or above is not on a personal lines form. So that's why it's asking that. What are the total number of rental property units? How many residential properties owned or rented to you or any member of the household are located outside the US? How many motorized vehicles? We're just going to say 1 for the sake of just getting through it today. How many recreational vehicles? How many antique, classic, or collector vehicles? How many personal watercrafts are looking for jet skis? How many watercrafts? How many acres of timberland or farmland? We can do, if they hunt on it, it will have a hunting exclusion. So don't shy away from the question, thinking that you won't be eligible if they hunt on the land. So we are able to do homes with land on it. How many drivers have been licensed for less than 1 year? Asking, do you live in a recreational vehicle full time? So basically it's asking travel trailers that are permanently parked if you live there all year. And if you want to purchase excess UM coverage, today we're not going to take either one of those. Okay. Let's see the next set of questions. And it's just taking a couple seconds. Okay, it's asking for the driver information. Just enter the name, the date of birth, the relationship. So you have a pick down box, insured, parent, child. The license date, again, it's a drop down box. any at-fault accidents, minor violations, major violations, drug or alcohol offenses. You do have to enter 0 if there are none. Sorry about that, but you have to enter the zeros. Again, if they do have drug or alcohol or a major accident, more than likely would be able to quote those. It's asking if anything's reckless driving, a felony, or has any physical impairments. We're just going to hit add driver. Okay. And if you'd have multiple drivers, you would just keep hitting add driver until all of those drivers are entered. The date of births and the accidents do determine rate. They do not, though, run an MVR. MVRs are not ran until the policy is bound. So if you know they have an accident or you know they have an a speeding violation, you should enter that. Okay. Again, we're just entering the one driver. We're going on to the next screen. And of course, here it's going to have your agent information. I'm under the Toscano house account. That's why it says WN web account. Again, getting back to that importance of having a everybody have their own login. If it was going to be submitted to us, we would call, it would show, you know, Joe Smith or whoever is entering that information, so that's who we would call. So sometimes on shared accounts, you know, we end up calling the wrong person because you're sharing an account. So that enables us to call the right person if we have any questions on it. These are all underwriting questions. Again, anything, a yes, don't, it's, you know, it might not, it's going to kick it out of this quick rater, but more than likely we will be able to give you a quote. It's just will be submitted to us. The yes and no questions, you know, there's several. I won't bore you going through every single one, but most popular ones: trust, limited partnership. We are able to do those. Professional athletes, we have celebrities, we are able to do those. USLI has a really good program with those. The sometimes people feel like judges are, and it does ask a question for that, but like a judge or political figure, just because they are in that spotlight, may not necessarily have the same rate as, you know, Brad Pitt or something like that. Now, if they're like more than likely like a judge that who maybe did like the O.J. Simpson trial or something like that, they might have a different rate. But just a local judge, more than likely they're just going to be rated like every other citizen. So locations leased, policy, are there any locations be covered by this policy leased to others for hunting, fishing, or sporting? Has the insured or any other driver had an arrest citation? That's another thing you have to add all operators in the household. That's something to remember. If you have you know, multiple people living in the house, you have to add all operators. Does the insured or any member of the household or any person residing in the household have a personal umbrella policy? What we're looking for is if you're want an excess umbrella, or if they're just, you know, truly shopping. That's what we're kind of looking for, or they're being non-renewed. Is there any business exposure or operation covered by the primary homeowners or CPL policy? Is there underlying auto coverage being provided entirely by business auto or garage policy? Again, we're going to just have a couple questions on that, whether, you know, were the symbols like on that business policy, are they able to use those vehicles personally? We don't have a problem with those. It's just that we have to ask a couple more questions. Any locations used for rooming houses, student housing? What that's looking for is, again, more than likely if it's student housing, it's written on a commercial form. We just want to make sure that it's the underlying policy is on the right coverage for them. Any aircraft owned, any premises leased, including motorcycles, owned, hire, or leased on regular use, not covered by a primary policy. If it's not covered under a primary policy, you're not going to have coverage on the personal umbrella. Was any coverage declined or non-renewed? Is there a paid crew on any owned watercraft? So it's looking for like a business watercraft or possibly a larger yacht. Are the minimum underlying limits for automobile covered completely by business auto garage? Is there additional insured that's needed? And then any other information that you can provide that the company should be unaware of. So let's go to the next page. Okay, it's thinking. Okay, so here it's asking for the underlying limits, asking if there's a CPL, homeowners, farm owners, or secondary limits. What you should do is if they have a primary home, say at 300,000, but the seasonal homes only at 100,000, I would put in that lesser amount, that limit. The limits have to be at least 300,000. Now there may be a special situation that if they are low limits, maybe it's a state that only offers this. We should be able to go back to the company, explain why these limits are low, but the majority of the companies do want a primary homeowners with a $300,000 limit. I think it's Florida that sometimes they can't get the higher limit. Automobile liability, asking for the underlying limit. There are certain cases sometimes with youthful drivers or elderly drivers that they will want a higher limit. It will be on the quote. So if the insured only has, say, 250, 500, and there's a couple speedings and an accident with a youthful driver, the quote will have on it that they require a higher limit. They'll let you know that. Recreational vehicles, we did not add any, so I'm not going to enter anything in. The same way with the watercraft. Does the insured agree to maintain underlying liability coverage on residential watercraft and RV? Yes, we do. Does the insured agree to maintain all auto limits? Yes, we do. Asking if you want to include theft ID, and we're not going to purchase that. Let's go on to the next page. And it's processing. Okay. Let's what this rater does is it actually goes to the company servers. So it's getting that data from the company servers and it's shooting it back to us. And here we go. These are the three companies, RLI, USLI, and Hudson. It's giving you the premiums for all of the companies. So we're going to click on just one of the quotes. So we're going to pick RLI in this case. And it's going to come up with a PDF. All three companies are AM Best A or better. It tells you the quote information, the carrier, when the quote would expire, and here are the links to the quote letter and the pre-filled application. And here's your quote with RLI. It's telling you it's $130. It's giving you the other option, which is nice because sometimes the insured will say, oh, for double the limit, it's $242. Let's go with the $2 million. So it's really nice that it gives you the premium options. It also tells you that it's based on this following. So sometimes the insured, sees it in front of them what it's rated on. It's like, oh, you know what? I forgot. You know, my dad's living with me and he's over the age of 70. So you can just go in and amend the quote. And then here's the application. I don't know about you, but my handwriting is horrible. It's absolutely, it's kind of a joke in the office. Everybody can recognize my handwriting because it's so horrible. So that's why I really appreciate pre-filled applications. Anytime we have the opportunity to give you a pre-filled app, I really like that because it's just, at least for me, it's I just have a horrible time at handwriting. So it gives you all the information that you entered and you know, the yes/no questions that we went through and the auto liabilities and all that. So what happens when you want to bind? Very simple process. You just, for instance, for RLI, all we need is the signed application emailed over to us, and we can bind that account for you. USLI, if we don't click into there, and Hudson are pretty much the same. Let's go back to the summary. We do like only to, for binding, everything can be emailed to us. You know, we try to stay away from snail mail, US mail. If you click on the USLI and Hudson, the same thing are going to come up with as far as the quote letters and the pre-filled application. So all you will need to do is sign those applications. The quote letter for Hudson and for USLI are very similar. Here's the quote letter for USLI. Here on the right-hand side shows you the bind date that you would have to enter. You can enter that information. It's asking if any excess UIM is wanted, and then it's direct bill. USLI is direct bill. So it's asking you what payments you would like, the single pay. And then it would also include a pre-filled app. So for USLI and Hudson, you would need to include this quote letter signed by you with the signed application. So that's it, and we can get you off a binder. So that's about it. If you have any questions after you get back to your desk, please feel free to give me a call. You can, again, send me an email or call me. My email, again, is nadine@toscano.com, Nadine. I really appreciate you joining me today. I hope you guys go back and start quoting some business. And again, if you have any feedback, please let me know. Thank you so much and have a great day.